Yo, what is up, guys? This is Pedro here. We have a bunch of big news here, but today let's start off with the Reuben Foster news. So Reuben Foster is placed on IR, and it does make sense. Also, Trey Quinn has been cut, so we're going to talk about that later in the video. If you guys are new, subscribe for Washington and NFL content. So let's get right into the video. So we'll first start off with Reuben Foster. So JP Finley said Reuben Foster to IR makes sense. He just hasn't been right, and the strength of his game is explosiveness and athleticism. John Keim reported it first, and I kind of said this last week that this is definitely possible. He's been working with the third team, hasn't really stood out, hasn't done much, and this does likely end his season because if you are placed on IR before 4 o'clock p.m. on roster cut day, it does end your season. So this is what someone said. They said Foster to IR before going on the 53-man means he is ineligible to play all season, right? And then JP Finley said, correct, he's basically done. So pretty much, unless something crazy happens or unless we place him on IR officially after the 53-man roster, he's going to be done for the year, pretty much most likely ending his tenure in Washington unless we re-sign him, which again is not necessarily likely, but we would be able to do it for cheap. This is the new IR rules, but this only is in effect after you made the 53-man roster. So injury reserve is also different this year. In the past, teams could only activate 2 players off IR per season after a minimum of 8 weeks. This year, teams can activate an unlimited number of players after a minimum of 3 weeks. So that helps us out a lot, but not in this situation right here. Reuben Foster is still likely to miss the whole season. Also right here, we have some Trey Quinn news. Washington is releasing Trey Quinn per source. So that is kind of newsworthy, I think, because some of us were debating if he would make the final roster, him battling out with Isaiah Wright, Cam Sims. So that bodes well for those two. If they are keeping 6, then those 2 are making it. But again, they could keep 5 or they could keep 6 initially. And then once the 53-man rosters are finalized, maybe waive one of the 2 and bring in another veteran wide receiver that got cut, including Mohamed Sanu. That's an option right there, but it does look good for Cam Sims, Isaiah Wright, all those guys, because they are going to get if we keep 6, they're going to make it unless we sign a veteran wide receiver. So I'm fine with this news. And of course, if he does clear waivers, Trey Quinn, he will make the practice squad. This is what Ben Standig said. Quinn could generate some interest on waivers since he played in the league. Hello, Jay Gruden, but otherwise a potential practice squad candidate here if he clears waivers. So, it's probably a 50-50 shot, 40-60 shot that he clears waivers. Not the best chances, but it's not a big loss if we do lose him. He hasn't played great in training camp, had some decent chemistry with Kyle Allen, but nothing else besides that. So there actually have been other roster cuts on the team, but I'm going to make a separate video on that because there's just too many to put in one video. But back to the Reuben Foster situation, I think it does suck for him. He had really, really good potential at Alabama, and we had high hopes for him, but he is not fully healthy. So I guess the right move is to put him on IR. We'll see if we end up putting him on IR before the start, before 4 p.m. or after, because if we put him on before, he's out for the season unless someone claims him, and then if we put him on after, then he's eligible to come back after 3 weeks. So we'll see about that, because he would be a good impact player if he is healthy, but he just hasn't been healthy. Like I said, has been working with the third team, hasn't stood out, and we have a lot of good linebacker depth. Kevin Pierre-Louis, John Bostic, Khalid Hudson, a lot of these guys. So I think that, I think that's why Reuben Foster is being placed on IR. Maybe on another team they would have given him a shot because they didn't have great linebacker depth, but we have some solid linebacker depth. So that is why he is not going to make the team unless he is placed on IR after the 53-man roster is finalized. He has to be on the roster and then put on IR. But yeah, that's the interesting thing right there. So Stay tuned. I'm going to post another video in maybe 20-30 minutes about some updated roster cuts because a couple happen in the middle of the video. And then at the end of the day, stay tuned for a final 53-man roster projection and also players that we sign, because our 53-man roster, it's not at 4 o'clock. It is finalized for a bit, but we can place players on IR, and we can also release some players and go after veterans that we like, including Mohamed Sanu and a few others, Demarius Randall. So we will see. I want to hear what you guys think about this Reuben Foster situation. What do you guys think about releasing Trey Quinn? I really don't think anyone has a problem with releasing Trey Quinn, but some people might have a problem with placing Reuben Foster on IR. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you stay tuned, and peace.